Wonder why my mind keeps on spinning. This isn't how living to me was told. Why am I like this? Something's always amiss. Can't put my finger on it, but it's there. Wait for it to subside, but my mind won't apply. Waiting for the clear. Is it bad sometimes? I like it when I lose control. There's something in it that's so beautiful. Listen, I can see the light dim, but I can also see the bones again. I don't know what else there is to say. I'm doing my best not to run away. Sitting throwing rocks across the pavement, hoping it'll cave in and swallow me whole. Wondering how the world keeps on spinning, kinda scared of living when it unfolds. Hard to see the light when everything is silent, waiting for the clear. Thankful I'm alive, but terrified of dying. But hey, I'm still here. Is it bad sometimes? I like it when I lose control. There's something in it that's so beautiful. Listen, I can see the light dim, but I can also see the bones again. I don't know what else there is to say. I'm doing my best not to run away.
see if this works. Can you hear me, Jack? Jack, am I back? I gotta adjust the mic. I think it should be decent, but I got like music in the background. So we'll see if this works. I didn't realize the album I had chosen to use was gonna be a problem. Because I thought I had just grabbed like a standard free mix, but I don't think it's gonna work. Just gotta see what the... I think I just have to put it in the caption somewhere. We'll see. I have to keep my eye on it. And now I gotta figure out where... I have the most bizarre era going on my Toon Boom, so we'll see how it goes. Hell yeah, it be working. Welcome, second person. I don't know if you're on the Twitch or the YouTube, but welcome. I'm just adjusting some layer settings, because something very strange happened, right? So, hold on, let me see if I can get this to pause so I can think straight, because I have only 2 brain cells. I can talk while there's music present, but I cannot talk well while the music is present. So, basically, I've been working on this storyboard, this specific series of sequences, which is, about 48 seconds long, but the main one is this one here. There are storyboard panel layers underneath, and I was like, I don't like how these look. I'm gonna add what's called a video layer on top of it, thinking it would be all easy peasy, rigmarole. Everything looked like it was functioning. You know, it was doing what I had asked it to do, basically. Problem became that it turns out that these layers up here do not track with the camera that is attached to the storyboard layer. So I had to go and manually copy paste all of these. So you want to see the kind of fun, stressful time I'm having, I gotta go like this, copy. The background layer is still back here, so it doesn't really change that aspect of it. Then I gotta go click this layer. I gotta go paste layer. And you're gonna notice it's very weird. It's like, where did the stuff go? They're down here. They've shrunken. They've gone all wiggly wook. So I was like, okay, that's weird. So what do I do to fix this? And I was like, there's gotta be something I'm doing wrong, because it's clearly a setting with the video player. So I do what I was trained to do, which is hit a line layer. Now, in theory, this is fine. In theory, this looks just fine. It looks a little better than usual, actually. I need to hide that. Now, the problem is that because the background in the original setting has been moved a little bit to accommodate the change, as you can see, it's like moving. And that's like no fault of anybody but my own for being stupid about it. The problem is, I have to manually fix this, and I've been doing it for like the past 3 or 4 days now, just trying to fix this sequence. I posted it to the TikTok because I don't think it looks too bad, the refined version, because the original version, let me see if I can find a copy without the sound. I will go to my TikTok and I'll show you the 2 comparatives, but it's got like music on it, so I'm just going to turn the audio off so I don't get copyright striked. But here is a comparison between the 2. I'll just click and drag. This is the channel TikTok, everybody. Come join us, where I just post things because people need to see the progress of this outside of Ko-fi. So I'll let this play a few times so you can see the difference between them. I just gotta figure out how I can make the screen bigger. Do we make the screen bigger? Or do I just gotta deal with the stupid little... Because you can't see the details when it's like this. Let me see what I can do here. sweats because I don't know what to do. I guess I could download my own file and play it that way. Yeah, I'll see if I can do that. I think I have to do that over the phone, right? Like, I'd have to go to the phone to do that. It's my video. You would think I'd be able to. Oh, actually, that worked kind of well. Okay, hold on. I'll just see if I can loop this. Or does it loop on its own? I don't think I can loop it. I'll figure this out. There's got to be like something I'm missing here to make my life easier. Is there not like a loop button? Am I gonna have to Google how to make a loop on TikTok? Hold on. How to loop a vid on TikTok desktop. Just right click the video and click loop. But dad no work. Dad no do the thing. How can I loop the video if you won't let me loop the video? It's 7 seconds. It's not enough for people to be able to see it properly. Yeah, I don't. Okay, give me a sec. I'm gonna do the less impressive thing of downloading my video on my phone and re-uploading it. This is painful. As you can see, the TikTok is mostly filled with me just randomly surfing. So I don't care too much. I wish there was a way I could like stream on TikTok, but I don't have enough followers to be able to do it via desktop. Video downloaded. Now we go here. Forcing y'all to watch my animations because I'm cringe. Like the millennial I am. Well, technically I'm Gen Z, but I'm like in that weird 1 year gap where the generations kind of are mixed together. Let's see if I can get this working. It's 7 seconds. It shouldn't take you too long to download. Yeah, you should have seen me yesterday, Jack. I was sitting there trying to find a way to do the split screen thing, and it took me 20 minutes to realize that the default TikTok app does not allow you to upload multiple clips, but the thing everyone's been doing to do the split screen is probably TikTok Editor, which is a separate app. So, imagine, to my confusion, when I managed to actually pull it off properly. Okay, here we go. I think I've got it. Give me a second. Go hop over here to where I post everything. Go here. Now you're gonna see the annoying logo, but That's okay. Just gonna turn the sound off to avoid copyright. We'll let it loop a few times so you see what the differences are. But like again, we're gonna have to deal with that stupid TikTok logo thing at the end. So sorry about that. But I'll let it loop a few times, and you'll see that it's not a lot of progress yet. There's still a lot more to go, but it's a lot cleaner than it was. And that's important because I changed the angle of the shots to make it a little bit more fitting. Because like if I go scene by scene here, the first thing you're going to notice is that aside from timing, I intentionally cut the character's head off here just a little bit because I love framing where you feel a disconnect from the lead character in the first shot because it fits the personality. Also, it's just a thing that's been going on in cartoons for like ages. So I love doing stuff like that. But then I realized it didn't really give the ability to give the proper expression. So I pulled the camera back a little bit. Now, I lost part of the background in the process. That's what that white blob is. I'll fix that later. But it allowed me to add additional posing that I didn't have before and add a little bit more timing for this character on the side here, which is very roughed out. I haven't really designed these characters properly, so I'm just blocking it out loosely based on what it needs to be. I'll fix it later because we're gonna have auditions for those characters. They're water bugs, water bears, but like times 30. They're like covered in hard shells and scales and stuff. It's actually half of what Elijah's genetics are, whereas characters like Hugh here, he's what's called a mothic, and when they're ill, they look more elven in nature, but they're actually just huge freaking monstrous moths normally. He's probably the healthiest out of the three siblings at the moment, at least in this trailer, because that's the whole premise of the original short. Anyway, I'll let it loop, so you guys can deal with the annoyingness that is seeing the TikTok logo over and over again as unintended advertisement. Hey, punk. Yeah, I wanna do a really gory sequence next, but we'll see how it goes. I hate this stupid logo, but I don't want to edit it just for the sake of putting it in here. So we're gonna deal with it. Can you guys see the full thing, or is it being cut off by the box? Let me see if I can get this to... I think I need to shrink the... is it working? There we go. I think that should do it. I'll let it loop a few times. See if I can figure out why the display is weird. Yeah, I had it set up so it would work with the Storyboard Pro file, but kind of just meh itself. I'll let it play through, maybe like for a minute or two, because I gotta let my dog in. I haven't heard from the artist who is making it, the rigger. She's apparently been dealing with hospital stuff, so I'm hoping I can get a hold of her, because I'm getting a little ticked off about it, and it's not her fault. She's done a fantastic job on the rig, but she hasn't given me the copy of it yet. So I will have to deal with it eventually, but for right now, I'm just ignoring the situation. I'm going to probably contact her end of the month, because it was finished, and she's just apparently busy doing stuff, so she can't send the file to help me set it up. And that's fine. I really want to have this thing ready, because we're going to the dinner party in D&D in like 3.5 weeks. And I would really, really like to have my VTuber model ready, because I built the model based on what Varicose needs to look like for that. It seems more like it's just passive stuff. She's got some chronic health issues, so I'm not too hard on her. It's just it's been 2 months since I've really had the ability to talk about the model. in a sense beyond just like here's some visual updates. I think they're okay. I hear from them time to time. I don't have the time or the resources to make a PNG tuber right now. We have a full team that I gotta focus on getting the storyboards for the trailer ready and making sure the lines are ready. I just don't have the time. That's why I hired someone to do the model work for the VTuber. Because even though PNG tubers are subjectively easy, it's gonna take me like 2.5 to 3 months to get it done because of the way I draw. Because they will be as detailed as everything else I draw. How dare you, Jack? I'm not even mad. I was hoping to test it out here on the channel. Because, like, I feel like you guys don't like hearing a disembodied voice that tends to just zone out 50% of the time. I feel like if there was more visual interest with, like, motion tracking on the character, that it'd be alright. Plus, it's Varicose. Who doesn't love Varicose? Varicose is amazing. We love Varicose. I love Varicose. He's my favorite character. Anyway, I'll let this loop a few more times because I see more people coming in. And then I'll switch back and start on the cleaning up process and show you kind of what I'm up to while we wait for people to come and potentially purchase commissions to support the show. That's always how the streams have gone. I basically just sit here and draw and work on whatever I'm working on until there are people interested in doing commissions. Which, I love hanging out. That's ultimately what this is about. So, hanging out, vibing out with people. Well, I'm mostly storyboards, but I do a little bit of character designing. I haven't been on Twitter in ages. I could take a look real quick. Let me pull up my phone. Truthfully, I find Twitter to be kind of frustrating to navigate now. Let me take a look. I think my phone needs a new, what do you call it? A new, SIM card, because all my apps keep crashing. It's like a continual issue. It's not too bad. Like, if I had to give advice, I'd say you may want to, like, do a character shape breakdown. But, like, overall, it's pretty simple enough that it's easy to replicate, which is always the key with character design. And it looks like it'd be, like, generally pretty expressive to work with. Looks like it might be fun. Do you have lore behind them yet? Okay, then I have no idea what's going on with my phone jack. It's like every application, no matter what it is, has been crashing lately. I did updates to my phone, I did updates to the applications. But for whatever reason, I launch an app and it decides to crash. You got any ideas what could be causing it? Because there's more than enough storage. Okay, let's see here. No, it's about a year old, but the SIM card is much older. Probably about 5 or 6 years, which is why I was like, oh, maybe it's the SIM card. It's a Motorola. I think it's called the Stylus 7 or something. It was a relatively cheap phone. I think I paid like $400 for it. It's all the apps. It doesn't matter what it is. I tried to launch the settings and it crashed. It's been doing it for months. I am a very clumsy person, so it's possible that I've like maybe broken something inside the device, but like the touch screen is responsive. It holds a pretty good charge. Like everything else seems fine. The apps just keep crashing. Yeah, it's worth a shot. I'll give it a try in a little bit. Oh, you guys can't see the dialogue that's going on because I don't have the panel open. What happened here? Why is my boy? Why are you so far away? What did I do? I need to add another frame apparently. Nice. Ready for the camera. Lights, camera, action. Gonna zoom in. There we go. The framing won't be right, but that's okay. Worth a shot. Wait. You should not be doing a zooming out because there is no reason to do a zoom out. There we go. I guess I could just get rid of this frame. Because then we switch to this section anyway. Okay. I'm going to let you guys see the whole thing in action. This blue bar here is the actual frame. So there should be a way for me to show it just from the frame's perspective. Let's see if I can do that. I mean, I could just render it out, but it's not complete, so that feels like a waste of rendering. Too late, I'm already doing it. For stream eyes only. Delete later, because it is incomplete and sucks. Oh, it's only one scene. All of it. I want all of it. If I were good at singing and had like nice background music, maybe I should get Burr on stream one of these days, and he can do like music in the background because he's our musician, and I could just be like moving and grooving to the music and making random sounds like it's the 1920s. It's gonna be a spoiler either way because there's no sound. And I've been posting these to TikTok anyway. The full thing is around 5 minutes long, so this is just like 40 seconds of it. Very, very broken. I am so excited for this trailer, but like, in all honesty, I don't know when it'll be ready yet. Because I gotta wait for 3 people with their vocal lines, and then Burr can start on the music. I am so excited for you guys to hear Burr's work, though. Burr is, like, by far my favorite musician I've worked with. And I've worked with, like, 5 musicians, which isn't a lot. But, you know, it's still 3 musicians. No, Burr is, like, genuinely great. I hope they get a lot of work, because he just graduated from music college not long ago. From, like, a really well appreciated college here in Canada. I can't say which one for, like, you know, sake of privacy, but because I don't have permission to say it yet, and I respect that. So I'm pretty excited, though, because he's gonna be with us the whole way through. He might even bring in actual, like, instruments sometimes. He has instruments, but I mean, like, go big band for, like, the first few episodes. I don't know yet. And then we have a whole range. Jack knows because he's in the work server with me. We got a whole bunch of really radical, awesome VAs, and we got 3 more joining us. Prepare. I didn't exactly I don't know how to word it, but this project has been in the works since 2019. Not the trailer, but the entire show. So it's like, it's more of I've just happened to be getting over the learning curve of it. The only other person I would have loved to have as a musician is Saucy Sushi over on TikTok. Uh, I've had passive communication back and forth with them. They do a lot of, like, I don't know how to word it, but you know, like how Epic the Musical is, like, just, I want to say, like, collaborative homegrown music. It's kind of got, like, that feel, except it's not a musical and it's not an epic. It's like, well, she gives me, like, the vibes of, like, the Crane Sisters, if you've ever seen their music. So they were the only other person I might have wanted. I'm not sure if it's they or she pronouns. I need to check. But that was the only other person I could have possibly thought about having on board. We have some really exciting people who are going to be joining the writer's room for episode 1, but don't have a Discord yet, so we're working on that. Including you, Jack, if you want to be. I don't know if they do music commissions, like either of the 2 of them. Who is it? I will do it for you. I could ask Burr, because I mean, I think Burr would be okay with it, but I don't know about Saucy Sushi. I'm pretty sure Saucy Sushi just kind of does music that they feel like. Man, I need to finish this board. But it looks so averagely good. Have you seen their music, Jack? Because, like, Saucy Sushi is, like, really good. I'm not even sure I'm pronouncing the name right. But, like, they did, like, A Rockin' God's Shoe and Temperance and I'm Here and songs like that. You probably heard some of their music from TikTok trends, but, like, you know how TikTok is. It ends up eventually spiraling out of control where you can't locate people. I can't play their music because they do have it copyrighted. They are an independent artist on YouTube and TikTok. Okay, well, she does have her stuff on TikTok. On YouTube, rather. I know the entire albums of the 3 albums they have so far are on there. It's Sousy and then sushi, I think. I I really don't use TikTok outside of like sourcing staff and like locating music. Like trends and stuff. Let me see if I can find. I do recommend them though. Is it Sousy Sushi? There we go. I really do recommend their music though. Yeah, I made a passive communication with them, like I do with a lot of people, because I used one of their songs over on TikTok, Rockin' God's Shoe, for one of my projects, just as a placeholder, because that's what I do. I use placeholder music until Burr gets back to me, because it helps with. Are you about to leave, Jack? Are you about to hit the road, Jack, and never come back? Oh, okay. Well, that's okay then. I don't mind. It's your taste in music. I'm just talking like in terms of homegrown musicians that are just like doing their thing online and aren't a big band. There are people that I listen to passively and I make communication with. That's more what I was saying. Burr is incredible. And I would recommend Burr every day of the week. Well, it's their music isn't for everybody. It's definitely a taste thing. I kind of grew up on like a lot more. I don't call it retro feeling music, but I like music that has a lot more of a simpler sound to it. I guess would be the best way to put it. Did I go too far back? I think I might have. Yeah, I can only go back 20. That's okay. Okay, so I need to pull this a bit more. A bit more back so it works. I'm gonna hang out and work on some boards. Watch me procrastinate in how badly I fix everything. What's that error? There's a layer on that shouldn't be on. Ah ha ha, I caught ya. Boom. Fixed. Oh, that is the most relatable feeling I've ever felt. Oh no, it's out of sync. Gotta rescale. Gotta rescale. Splits at the current frame. can deal with that next. We'll deal with that next too. But right now I want to just deal with fixing this sequence. Probably just rough these out, I think. It's just important that she gets over here. Gonna get the power tools so I can draw a red line. We're drawing a line in the sand. Go eat. Don't starve yourself for the sake of watching people do artificial drawings. I don't know if artificial is the right word, but you know what I mean. I will be here till like 1:30 anyway. Just drawing for the most part. Well, then you better offer to pay for my lunch, my dude. Come take me to a celiac-friendly restaurant. Oh, yes, I will eat all the rice noodles. I will eat them all. I will become the devourer of bowls. Well, we just sneak into Mr. Noodle Factory after work. And then, when they're closed down, we'll steal all their samples. Mr. Noodles? They're like those instant ramen noodle packs that you buy from the dollar store. I have the feeling my computer might have extreme lag between when I'm receiving your messages. Well, yeah, there's actually a Mr. Noodle museum, I believe in Korea. I'll have to, if you come back before the end of my stream, I will pull up Google images of it. Wait. Why didn't it show up? Is my brush too small? It might be. I can't remember if South Park was a situation of their pilot being like a CalArts grad who just wanted to make stuff, or if it was like actually being pitched with that cardboard cutout style as actual paper before. Because usually the pilots are made with that in mind. But I have no idea with South Park, to be honest. I've watched it passively, but that's like the only thing I really know about the series as far as, like, other than basic, like, common lore knowledge. I was a Moral Oral fan myself. Ooh, too big. This is still too big of a brush. I don't understand. Oh, Moral Oral is great, but it's like, if you have religious trauma, you don't want to watch it. It's a parody of a much older Christian television series called David and Goliath, which was about a boy and his dog, and there was also claymation. Well, if it makes you feel better, Canada technically doesn't have it either. What's been going on for years is that we just have a huge circulation of different countries' media that gets locked in with Canada after a certain percentage. It's stupid. It is a very large, very weird situation going on. Canada has always wanted to prove that it can make its own media, which it can, and you can support your own country's media, but there's no reason that radio, television, film, and books need to have like a weird modern. It's been going on since like the 50s, where it's like the cable network said that yes, we will import media as long as it is either partially created in Canada or you have 60% of your broadcast network dedicated to Canadian television. And that's for television and radio. We don't have like an actual Adult Swim channel. You can buy the network with people. Like, I could go to Bell and pay extra for it, but it's not part of the default plan. Because we used to have a network called Teletoon, which would function as the hub for Cartoon Network programming here in Canada. But it closed down, so I don't know what happened to the way it was structured before. We can get Adult Swim programming, but that's about it. I just don't know where it goes now because streaming has messed everything up. But it was supposed to be that you would have to pay premium on, like, basically any network that wasn't giving a certain percentage of time on its air for Canadian programming. So they created Teletoon as a compromise. So it contained a mixture of, yeah, I would say, like, we got content from France, Canada, the US, and some European shows as well. Not a lot of European shows, because there just wasn't a ton that Canada wanted to import. It's really wrecked the industry. I think the concept was good because it was basically just advanced pay on demand, but like the problem is nobody actually thought it through. They all just saw that Netflix, which at the time was not profitable, like Netflix did not become profitable until I think 2015, and it's been around since like the early 2000s, like I want to say 2008 or 2009, and like its business model wasn't bad. I will say that. Like, the concept of other networks, because how it worked was other networks would pay to have airtime on Netflix for a certain contracted length of time. And then what would happen was they would split the revenue for the views, basically. But companies are often stupid. This isn't the first time this sort of thing has happened in the industry as a whole, but it's the first time that it's resulted in so many companies collapsing in on themselves and reorganizing in such succession that they have no idea what they're doing. And they're going to blame COVID, and they're going to blame, like, it's stupid. I follow what's going on with the budgets of these places because it affects my livelihood. I follow the trends of what's going on to see what studios are going to want to choose to do and what programs I need to learn. It used to be that it'd be like, the best example is Flash, as always. Flash was introduced as a way to basically do what's called tweening, which is moving an object to a predetermined location without having to do a lot of extra work. The computer calculated it for you. It was huge in the early 2000s when it first came out because it saved a lot of time and money, but you didn't actually have to, like, cancel a bunch of staff. Instead, you could add more shows to production because it was cheaper. The problem is that every time that happens, there's like this period of 1 or 2 years where whatever the new technology is devastates all of the companies while they try to figure out how to work with it. Normally, it results in more jobs, regardless of what the industry within media is. Normally, it does. But the last 3 cycles, where it was like, initially, it was just streaming was for all of your old undesired content that you couldn't get syndicated. For tax write-offs, basically, which is why Netflix and Tubi are the only successful ones right now. And I think Hulu was making money until Disney purchased off the remaining shares. Like, as a testing ground platform, I think it's a great idea, but all of these, nobody talks about it, all of these streaming networks, as soon as they started being launched, companies were canceling a lot of their cable providers that they had. Disney canceled Disney XD and a bunch of other stuff. They still have cable channels, but it's for stuff that's like repeating and the contract hasn't expired yet, or it's for sports, because sports is the only thing making money. So, you put everything onto a streaming platform. Disney, in concept, could have had a really good streaming platform, because they promised it would be everything uncensored in their library. We all knew that wasn't going to be the case, but the sheer amount of censoring they did on launch is just, it's horrific. And then you see how much they're spending per episode on show, and then you realize how much money they've sunk into the parks, and the parks aren't making money. It's like Disney is falling apart at the seams. Over at Universal, things are like, they're rocky, but they're not great. They at least had the foresight to put money into other projects outside of streaming. And they weren't spending hundreds of millions per episode of show only for it to look like it was like very cheaply put together. But if I get into my feelings about Universal and Warner Brothers in particular, I am gonna like lose my head because I have so many thoughts and angers about it. Because I don't know if you know this, but Warner Brothers and Universal are trying to become a tech company, not a media company, and Disney is trying to do the same. And I'm like, you do understand that you're an entertainment business, right? Like, you can't just switch mediums so you can get government funding. They want to become a tech thing because technically their streaming service and their parks count as tech ventures. And the government will give them money. The U.S. government will give them money in chunks to keep supporting them. Because Silicon Valley is important to the U.S. That's the stupid thing, right? Okay, so Universal is at least doing something that's kind of rational. Their tech venture is actually within the animatronics field. So they want to focus on creating communicative technology within their theme parks. Something that will eventually actually bring them revenue. And the streaming service is just on the side. They want to maybe dump a whole bunch of money into creating new programs as well that their staff can use. And that's supposed to help. And then Disney is just broken. I don't think the current people at Disney know what they're doing. I don't think they've known probably since like pre-COVID. They don't have any idea. Because everything they've tried has failed significantly. Like with the other companies, their projects are failing because they just don't know how to work with a streaming network. Because they don't understand how it works. But Disney is throwing everything at the wall and hoping something sticks. But here's how bad it is. Tiana's Bayou Adventure was the replacement for Splash Mountain recently. And they put something like $100 million into the refurbishment of that ride. it has not been able to run more than 4 sessions or rounds on its ride a day since it opened about 3 weeks ago because it keeps breaking down. It's weird. It used to be that the media companies that would create actual content were run by people who at least started from some place of entertainment. They might have come from like the broadcast sector, or in the case of like Eisner came from the game show sector, and then he bought all these IPs and he saved Disney for a little while because Disney was failing. But after that, I don't think he knows what he's doing because he doesn't know what these IPs are. And I know he's probably gonna, whoever the current CEO is now, because I'm losing track with the sheer number of votings that are going on right now. But whoever is running it right now is just barely functioning. I don't think. Okay, how do I put this? Disney owns 5 sectors, is what you could say. There's 5 different divisions of Disney. There is the theme parks and the cruise lines. That's one sector. They're, I think, called resort sector. Then you have the film and television sector, which is just called the entertainment sector. You then have, like, the news and broadcast sector, which is separate from film and television. They're like the people who are doing sports and stuff. Then you have the miscellaneous sector, which deals with, like, specifically merchandising and making deals with other companies for, like, DVD sales and stuff, like the more nitty-gritty stuff. And then there's this very weird, specific third section that's just testing stuff. It's where they take all of the money that they should have put on other things, and they just drop it right there and say, hey, we know Rise of the Resistance isn't working, and we should probably increase the queue sizes on like 5 different rides, but instead we want you to focus on finding ways to cut back costs on the air conditioning. Because I kid you not, Disney World has very, very little air conditioning anymore when they used to have a fair bit of it. And Disney World, unlike Disneyland, actually needs that air conditioning. And the same is going on with like Tokyo. You got like all these apps that were unnecessary to make. I get why they got rid of some of the features, and eventually like an app for Disney World makes sense, but the way it is set up is just, it is awful. Genie Plus, which has now been changed to like Lightning Lane, I think it's called now, it is a disaster. Like, it is divided into basically all the stuff you need on your phone to function at Disney World. You got your maps, which have like a pop-up of how much wait times there are, and you can pay extra money to get a chance to ride at a certain time. So you got that. And then you gotta pay for, like, if you want to get a faster pass to get in there, where fast passes used to be free. What was the other thing people were complaining about Fast Pass? Or the new Lightning Lane system. The prices aren't fixed. It's not like, oh, I could pay like $20 for any of these rides. It fluctuates. So I might want to go on Rise of Resistance, and it might be 3 p.m. And it might be $20-ish. But if I were to go back at 7 p.m. when it's the busiest, which I don't know if that's when it's busy on that particular ride, but let's say it is, then it might be $30 to get a ticket. And they don't refund you if the rides crash. They just might give you the opportunity to come back to ride it again the next day if you have the chance to. I don't know if there's a refund policy on the last day of your visit, but yeah, that's how it functions. On top of that, it very frequently has issues of crashing, and I'm just like, you could have avoided this. You know what's bad when you're on your second union strike in 2 years, because Disneyland is about to go on a union strike? Like, the whole of Disneyland is about to go on a strike. Disney World had a partial strike last year, so they could unionize. It is chaos at Disney. You know, they're pumping money into things that they have no idea what to do with. A lot of companies, especially media, will pump in for new programs. They think, like, everybody is like yelling and screaming about AI because it really is a big deal. But at its core, companies tend to go through this cycle in media every 4 or 5 years, and this might just be the longest running one that we'll ever see because no one knows how this thing functions. But they did the same thing with NFTs, and nobody talks about it. When NFTs became a thing, all of these companies were releasing NFTs. When the Skylanders bubble happened back in like 2016, 2017, all of these companies made their own Skylander-esque things. They do this to try to keep up with trends instead of keeping a brand identity. Right now, it's DEI stuff that has gone off the rails, and I'm not complaining about the premise of DEI. I am complaining specifically about the fact they don't know how to actually properly talk about it on the public. When they're doing interviews, they don't know how to properly talk about it. All of these companies are writing their interviews like they're tokens. Um, so like instead of it being about actually hiring people who are like a diverse range of people who qualified for these positions, instead of that being how they word things for the interview, because that's what DEI actually is, instead they're like, oh yes, we're gonna bring opportunities to talk over everything. Trust me, I could ramble for hours, Jack. I gotta let King in. But, no, like, essentially, there's a lot of stuff going on, and media companies that make entertainment think that becoming a tech company is gonna help, but all the tech companies are breaking too. When you get back, if you guys are truly interested, I could ramble about some of the stuff I've heard going on at the back end of Google, but we're also on YouTube, and I'm like, is this a good idea to ramble about? I'm gonna let King in, so I'm gonna put a timer on, but I'll be back shortly, and then I'll actually start drawing because I know that's why I'm here. Let's go. I'm gonna do an 8-minute break. Oh, it's not that they're greedy. Media companies are just, they panic a lot. They have no idea what to do. So they make irrational decisions that they can use to make tax write-offs with. Not to say that there aren't greedy companies, there definitely are, but a lot of these decisions are panic decisions the last few years. I'm back. How's everybody doing? Gotta find my pen. There we go. Let's see what I can do here.
You cashed in on my promises. You know I'm too generous. Now I've learned to never help you out. 'Cause I'm done cleaning up your mess. Found myself in my regrets. I've become a little stronger now. A little stronger now. Casting on my promises. You know I'm too generous. Now I've learned to never help you out. 'Cause I'm done cleaning up your mess. Found myself in my regrets. I've become a little stronger now. A little stronger now.
Open eye, feel the waves cut through me. Hypnotized by the
The storms we chase are leading us, and love is all we'll ever trust. Yeah, no, I don't wanna waste what's left. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll go.
What does perfect even mean? Is there even such a thing? Ooh, can we switch up all the rules and imagine a utopia? Darling, I'm just so fed up with these expectations. They keep weighing me down. My heart is begging me to get the hell out of my head. I'm gonna live inside the upside down for a minute and pretend, honey, I'm a perfect 10. Whoa, whoa, honey, I'm a perfect 10. Whoa, whoa. And if I say it enough, it gets ingrained in my head, and I start to see, honey, I'm a perfect 10. Honey, I'm a perfect 10. Whoa, honey, I'm a perfect 10. Honey, I'm a, yeah.
I'm on my own, broken and alone. I feel the rain crashing down all around this empty town. I'm searching for the lost and found, but you don't care, you're unaware. Keep moving like the scars aren't even there. It's in the air like a blazing flare. Don't stare 'cause the flames will burn us. I thought you were the one for me. That's why I gave you everything. Held you close by the stormy seas. Oh, you meant the world to me. I used to kiss your head when you cried for me. Hold your hand while the pain was over. Keep you warm by the roaring sea. You meant the world to me.
And do you see you got me falling in more times than I can get out. Down in the deep of my mind, I crawl for you and you're always inside. Down in the deep of my mind, how long do I got to keep you, to keep you? Down in the deep of my mind, I crawl for you and you're always inside. Down in the deep of my mind, trying so hard not to keep you, to keep you. How long do I got to keep you, to keep you? Trying so hard not to keep you, to keep you.
Can I be your superhero?
but you know I never will. No, so I choke you down just like a pill. Oh yeah, take you like a pill.
I can never ever find the right words, and there's no way this is real life. There's no telling you're the right girl, so I can only say that it feels right. It feels right. It feels right. Yeah, I can only say that it feels right. It feels right. It feels right. Yeah, I can only say that it feels right. That it feels right. Feels right. So right, so right, so right. I'm just going with the gut. Never had a doubt, felt like this is just a must. Put me in perspective, I'm the deepest in the cut. Everybody tuning in, but this is just for us now. We know I ain't ballin' yet. Hoes wanna holler, oh no, I don't call them back. Girl, let me see you hold it down, we gon' have a blast. Cause I just wanna know what you gonna do with all of that. Ain't gotta say a word, I know what's up. You can have it all, watch me rip it off. I'll admit it, you got me feeling hella love. Even when it's going down, know that we gon' live it up. Young shot caller, always been a baller. Know that you the one, I can feel it in my heart. Yeah, I won't stop charging, we going come harder. I can see you and I, way beyond the stars, girl. I can never ever find the right words, and there's no way this is real life. There's no telling you're the right girl, so I can only say that it feels right. It feels right. It feels right. It feels right. It feels right.
burn it down. Burn it down. We gon' burn it down. Burn it down. I killed it, it's murder. I killed it, it's murder. I killed it, it's murder. I killed it, it's murder.
I killed it, it's murder, go crazy, berserker. I killed it, it's murder, go crazy, berserker. I killed it, it's murder, go crazy, berserker. I killed it, it's murder, go crazy, berserker.
Show them. Change the station with a new shit. Show them. Change the station with a new shit. Change the station. Change the station. Change the station with a new shit. With a new shit. Change the station. Change the station. Change the station with a new shit. With a new shit.
Turn toward me and look so weak. I've never seen you with such tired eyes. And everything we said we'd be, we just traded for a suit coat and a tie. And underneath the rows of trees, I will see you where the ocean meets the sky. Under your toes, the fire grows. You are ready for a different kind of life. You're silent, bold, the wind is cold. You must return to the
take your soul.
Crack it. Crack it.
When you want to get off the darkest ground, but gravity pulls you straight down. Earth from a bird's eye view. You should grow feathers and see this too. When you want to get off the darkest ground, but gravity pulls you straight down.
Kids screaming in their cradles, profanities. I see the world through ice covered in ink and bleach. Cross out the ones who heard my cries and watched me weep. I